I don't care about the money. I just want to help people. I just want people to sign up for my coaching sessions. And I'm like, throwing stones at that, like, oh no, you need to care about the money, and here's why. Hey, Courtney Sanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things. If you had to see what we did before just to get this video together, my daughter was screaming upstairs, had to arrange things. So it's always funny to me. I come on these videos all primmed and polished and you don't see all the madness that happens behind the scenes. But I do it because I'm so passionate about helping you turn your success story into a 6 or even 7-figure coaching brand. And along those lines, how you do that is getting out on social media and creating really great client attraction content. But I know that every time I say this, oh, you need to come up with good content, you need to come up with client attracting content, one of the first comments that I know I'm gonna get on the video is, yeah, but how do I come up with these great content ideas? And so I thought it'd be fun in this video to tell you how I come up with my content ideas for social media. And so I'm gonna allow you to truly steal my content creation secrets. So if you're curious about how I come up with all these video topics, how I come up with all the stuff that goes out on Instagram, if you're following me on Instagram, how I come up with all these podcast topics, all the things that I'm doing all the time, you're gonna love this video because I'm gonna share these strategies starting right now. All right, the first thing you have to keep in mind, and this is almost like step 0, is that social media is actually not for you, it's for your audience. So I've shared this in a previous video, but me personally, I would not have social media if it weren't for my business. I actually don't have any personal profiles. All my profiles, even if it has my name on it, like Instagram, CourtneyLSanders, I consider those all my business profiles. And so it's really important that you have that mindset regardless of whether you have business or personal profiles, because oftentimes a big mistake that I see people make with their social media is that they treat their social media almost like it's a diary for them. And again, that's totally fine if we're talking about your personal Facebook page or maybe some other profile that's just for you, your family, and your closest friends. But if you are looking to use social media to ultimately attract clients, you need to be creating content that is gonna make your audience want to come back for more. So really we gotta get into this mindset that our social media is not for us, it's for them, it's from our audience. And from that standpoint, a lot of these strategies that I'm gonna share with you are gonna become a lot clearer. Okay, so with this mindset in mind that our social media is not for us, it's for our prospective clients, the first way that I come up with my content ideas is I ask myself, what are the mistakes that my audience is commonly making? That's one of the easiest ways to come up with content topics, because think about it. You are a coach, right? You are an expert, or you have some level of expertise in the things that you are coaching your people on. So ask, what is a common mistake that they make that you can help them with? I have videos all about building your brand, nailing your niche. I have so many videos on that because I know that's a huge mistake that often people who get in the coaching arena make. They go super broad. They see people like Oprah, Ayanna Van Zandt, Tony Robbins, and they see them in these, seemingly very broad niches. And so they build their businesses the same way they see the greats doing it, not realizing that the greats started small and narrow and then expanded. So that's just an example of how I come up with a lot of content around nailing your niche, building your brand, et cetera, because I know that there are common mistakes that my audience is making. So think about things in your arena. And again, it doesn't even have to be just for business. If you are a relationship coach and maybe you help women of a certain age, find their ideal mate using, I don't know, dating apps only. I just totally made that up off the top of my head, but I bet that would be a really good niche if there's somebody's out there who is a relationship coach. If you can help women of a certain age find their dream partner using, dating apps only, I think you would have a line out the door. And so with that, what are some common mistakes that your audience is making? Maybe there's mistakes that they're making in their profile. Maybe there's mistakes that they're making in terms of the pictures that they're using. Maybe there's mistakes that they're making in terms of the type of dating apps that they're on, right? Maybe you need to be on Match and not Tinder or Hinge. I don't know, guys. I've been married 9 going on 10 years. I've been with my husband since I was 20 years old. So I always think dating topics are fascinating. I live vicariously and I love hearing about what's going on in the dating streets because your girl's been off the market for a very long time. So, those are the only dating apps that I know. But hopefully you get the gist of what I'm saying. in that example, those would be common mistakes that you could help somebody with. Maybe you are a health and wellness coach. What are common mistakes people make when they try to go vegan, when they try to cut dairy out of their diet, when they try to do this, when they try to do that? Whatever those mistakes are, those are great starting points for you to create social media content. All right, the second way that I come up with my content ideas for social media is I think about what I get excited to talk about. And so this is why my podcast especially is the way it is. I always say that for a very long time I didn't understand why people liked my podcast so much, because I felt like I would just go in my office, turn on my microphone, and just kind of rant and rave about whatever I thought was interesting. But part of the reason why people connect with my podcast and even this YouTube channel and what I post on Instagram is because there's always an energy of excitement around what I'm talking about. Even this topic about how to come up with social media ideas, I always make sure that I never talk about anything that I don't really want to talk about or that I'm not excited to talk about. And even things that are seemingly unrelated, I will connect them to something that is ultimately going to be helpful for my audience. So I have a lot of videos on this channel about wealth building, some of my favorite books. I just did a video on how to create generational wealth. From, the outside looking in, somebody might say, what does that have to do with coaching per se? Shouldn't you only be doing videos about how to, grow your coaching business or how to do X, Y, and Z? But part of the reason why I'm even in the coaching arena, why I created a coaching business for myself, and why I am excited to help other people build coaching businesses is because I'm very passionate about creating generational wealth, and I want to help other people create generational wealth. My coaching business has been instrumental in helping me create generational wealth for my family, and I understand that just with the way society is going and the economy is going, and we're talking about inflation is up one day, it's down another day, gas prices, blah, blah, blah. I feel now more than ever it's important for people to learn how to monetize their skill set as an entrepreneur, even if they choose to continue working a full-time job. So that's something that I'm personally passionate about. And so I think about the topics that I want to talk about, and then I ask myself, how can I marry it with something that would be ultimately valuable for my audience? So think to yourself, what are some things that you're excited to talk about, even if it's not technically related to your niche? And then see if you can connect it to those topics that would ultimately be helpful for your audience. And that's how you can come up with some very, very interesting social media content ideas. All right, the third way that I come up with social media content is I let y'all be nosy. I know y'all nosy. I know some of y'all are nosy, some of you guys are skeptical, you wanna know how I do these different things. So some of the ways I come up with social media content idea is I just simply peel back the curtain and I share what worked for me or how a launch went down or what actually happens, right? So I actually have a video that you can check out here that breaks down my $100,000 month. So right now we're currently generating around $100,000 a month. In the month that I recorded that video, we had actually had a $200,000 month. And so I break down where all that income came from and what products I was selling and who bought what, right? People are nosy. People want to know. It's not enough for me to say, hey, I'm a seven-figure, online life and business coach. They want to know how, specifically how I do it. And so think about what are the things that you are achieving in your business or in your personal life that your audience would be super interested to learn about. Again, maybe you're a health and wellness coach and it's not enough for you to come up with meal plans or give great content on different ways that people can eat healthy. Maybe people are nosy and they want to know, well, what do you eat? So maybe a content idea could be a video or some other sort of social media post where you peel back the curtain and you show what a day in the life of eating with you looks like, or what a week in the life of eating, a week's worth of meals, what that looks like, right? Maybe you're a relationship coach and you teach married people how to communicate better. Maybe you want to do a podcast, right after you and your spouse have a fight, but then hopefully, you make up, and then you do a podcast breaking down the argument and how you were able to use your communication skills to ultimately come to a resolution. So understand that we live in a reality TV, world, a reality TV age. People are nosy. They want to know the behind the scenes to what you do. And so giving them what they want, giving the people what they ask for is a great way to come up with social media content ideas. All right, I have more where that came from, but first I want to hear from you. What's your favorite topic to talk about on social media? Share in the comments below. All right, the fourth way that I come up with social media content ideas is I talk about things that are sometimes an unpopular opinion. So regardless of what niche you're in, there's gonna be certain norms or standards in your industry that are really popular. And so maybe you can kind of throw stones at it in a little bit if you feel a different kind of way about that. One of the things that I talk about a lot that a lot of people have, feel a certain kind of way about is about money, right? I just mentioned this. I'm very passionate about creating generational wealth. I think that it's super important. As an African American woman, I'm very passionate about making sure that my kids, have generational wealth. There's a whole legacy of things that were denied to African Americans over the years because of the history in this country. And so that's something that, I'm always beating the drum about. And it can be an unpopular opinion, especially in the coaching industry, because people think that you shouldn't be focused about the money. Why do you talk about the money so much? It should just be about the impact. Oh, I don't care about the money. I just want to help people, right? That's the popular opinion. I don't care about the money. I just want to help people. I just want people to sign up for my coaching sessions. And I'm like, throwing stones at that, like, oh no, you need to care about the money, and here's why. Another unpopular opinion is I always say that you should start with your highest price coaching packages first as you're building your business, and then scale down, meaning then start to offer some mid-ticket programs and then lower ticket courses and smaller ebooks, etc. The popular opinion is that you should start small and then work your way up. So people try to build their businesses off the back of $20 ebooks, $150 coaching sessions, and then they wonder why they struggle so much and they never hit six figures is because they're doing it backwards. But again, there's this idea that if you're just getting started, you have to figure out what you can charge the lowest amount for and start there. And I'm flipping that on its head and I'm saying, no. Find something that you have that's very valuable that you can charge the most for. Start there because that's going to give you the cash flow to build your business. And then over time, as you have more bandwidth, then you can expand into lower price product offerings and then reach a wider variety of people. So those are just examples of some unpopular opinions in my industry. There's a lot more where that came from. You'll probably hear about them on this channel if you haven't heard already. I'm sure I've said something that has ruffled somebody's feathers somewhere down the line. And so that's just the nature of the industry. That's just the nature of having a personal brand. So think about what is maybe some unpopular opinions in your industry or your particular niche or space, and see if you can create some content around that. All right, the fifth way that I create content is I read people's minds. Not literally, right? I don't actually know what you're thinking, but I kind of know what you're thinking. And I know that because I was once where you were. And so one of my favorite ways to come up with social media content is I love to address questions that I know my target market has, but they can't Google. You ever have like a very weird, very specific question and you find yourself going on Google to ask it, but then as you're typing it out, you're like, this is ridiculous. Why am I asking Google this? Like Google doesn't know, like this is too specific, right? So those kind of very specific but burning desire questions that your audience has, read their mind and just go ahead and create social media content for that. In fact, one video that I just did, which you can check out here, which is how to invest in coaching and actually get a return, right? Nobody's Googling that. Like how would you even phrase that question? But I know that that's something that a lot of people struggle with because there are a lot of people who are willing to invest in themselves and have joined coaching programs and they haven't gotten the results that they're looking for. They're still struggling in their business and they can't figure out why. So that's a problem that they have. That's a question that I know they're asking, but in no way can you Google that. But here's me, I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna create a video to address that exactly. So ask yourself, what are the burning desire questions that your audience has, but because of the nature of the question is not something that they can really Google, whatever that is, that's a great topic for you to create social media content on. If you love this video, you're also going to love my content planning cheat sheet. So I give even more suggestions on ways you can come up with different content ideas. Again, I know that this is something that a lot of people struggle with. They're like, oh, I have to create all this content. How? Just download my content planning cheat sheet. You can do that by clicking the link below. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. If you loved it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want even more where this came from, make sure you're subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show. And if you can't wait for my next podcast episode or my next video, make sure that you are following me on Instagram. It's CourtneyLSanders. I only have one account. I will never misspell my own name. So if someone reaches out to you pretending to be me, don't fall for it. There's a lot of scammers out there, but I'm CourtneyLSanders on Instagram, and you can follow me and you get even more content like this in my feed, as well as many of the behind the scenes in my life. And so with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.